the Antichrist being, in a way, like an innocent man, in the sense that they were made the scapegoat. We cannot be made aware of the fact. If we're aware of the fact that they're the scapegoat, then it nullifies the magic of having the scapegoat. And so that part I thought was the super interesting part. I'm like, oh wow, is he really going to go in there and make an apologetic, for the archetypal, like, evil figure of Christianity, or I would love to go fly on a wall at this thing.
Dr. James, I think Peter Thiel and Rene Girard, the way they live their life and their system of ethics are miles and miles apart. I think Peter Thiel is just going to spin a very quotable saint. One of the more saintly peoples that lived in the 20th century is going to spin his words out of context. I think the saintly Rene Girard would be spinning in his grave if he knew what the arguments were. But also, have we found out if any of this is going to be public and broadcast?
No, it's not. It's absolutely not reading.
Kyle Rittenhour as a murderer?
It's private. It's very private.
Yeah. A huge axiom
I'm going to be making a fireball.
Christian ethics and Christian political theory
The
is
first thing that I need is some
greed is
method.
bad, not greed is good. I don't think Peter Thiel caught that memo. I think Rene Girard did.
I think we need to read the announcement carefully. Are you sure Peter Thiel isn't going to be summoning the Antichrist?
He already did. His name is Elon.
Well, there is a false prophet that sort of announces the Antichrist, and then there's the Antichrist. So, there's...
I want the past performance be your only guide to the future because you have Grok now. Just ask it.
Is Peter Thiel the Antichrist?
It'll tell you.
It's true, Grok is the free speech AI, right? So it has to...
It was asked
I'm not kidding you.
It was asked if Charlie Kirk survived, and for like a long time, it was like, yeah, Charlie Kirk's fine. It's totally cool. No, everything's...
So this morning, I started a screen recording because Grok would crash. It gave me the name of the shooter and all this stuff. It gave me that before NPR knew that someone was arrested. So I clicked on the thoughts part, and every time I go to thoughts, it crashes the app on the explanation of the shooter. It's weird. Very reproducible defect. Or system behavior, let's put it that.
Let's call this one in like 5 minutes. This has been a nice and maybe a little bit rowdy room this morning, but I think we've accomplished something. Don't know what yet, but we'll figure it out.
So, really quick, I need to make an announcement. If you're at your store, go to the spice section, go get yourself a McCormick Global Select Szechuan Pepper, Salt, and Spice Blend. It'll make your life so much better. And like in days and weeks and months and years like these, we need things that make our lives better.
Well, this is rare. So this is the anti-traffic jam we're having. We've got 4 minutes left. Anyone want to say goodbye or plug anything you've got going on today?
I'm going to go to John's room, but just now coming in to ground news alert. After overthrowing the government, Gen Z Nepali protesters have selected their next interim prime minister via Discord.
I want to announce the fascist crawl tomorrow evening at 5:30. Going around to Palantir, Amazon, going to Amazon twice actually, a couple other billionaire-owned companies, and they end up at a pub and talk about it all.
Sounds.
Post it in the chat.
Anyone else? Free.
I wanted to point out for you, Dr. James, that I don't think fellow from yesterday was remembered so much for his views, which I think are kind of a grab bag of crazy ideas. I do think that he was instrumental because he reflected people's views, especially in colleges, and kind of shone a light on what people in college were thinking. And I think people actually were quite horrified by the ideas that were floating around on these campuses. And that, I think, is a big part of why politics went the way it went in 2024, is that people are kind of horrified by the narratives that are emerging in academia. So
Okay.
that's all I really want to
Yeah, thank you.
Benjamin, what was the number one reason that exit polls said that people voted for Trump? Was it the what's going on campuses? Do you remember the exit polls out of 2024?
The number one predictor was whether people had a college education or not.
No. What was the number one reason? That was my question, not the predictor. The number one reason people picked Trump.
That people gave, I don't know. Usually it's the economy stupid, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. So, do you know on the exit poll ranking, the problem with colleges and university, where did that rank in the exit polls? It didn't rank. It didn't come up. Okay, so if you're making a statement like this, that people voted for Trump because they didn't like what was going on in colleges and universities, the least you should do is provide the exit poll data. Otherwise, you're talking out of your ass and you're wasting everybody's time.
Also want to announce September 21st to 28th is Climate Week New York City. It's the biggest climate thing in the world every year. And we have a couple clubhousers who are going to be speaking there. Barbara, who is Dr. Francine's Karma Club co-mod, will be speaking with Peter. I can't ever remember his last name. It's timed to be at the same time as the UN General Assembly, and they'll be speaking at the UN to influencers. So kind of like mini celebs in our midst. And there's a march on Sunday, and then events that you can often tune into virtually. New York Times has panels, different things you can tune into if you don't live in New York.
So I'm going to start calling.
We're saying goodbyes. So if you could just keep this at this point to like 30 seconds, Romero, I'm happy.
So I'm going to start calling Sam Fred, because that was savage.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I let Benjamin go in the audience, Benjamin, only because I didn't
me.
want that to continue, because I'm trying to close the room and I just am setting a hard boundary rather than sort of being a little gooey.
I'm savage, not savage. I'm a lot classier than that.
All right, Sam, you had your airtime. We'll speak to you again.
All right, well, so we're launching to the moon in 10 minutes.
Nice. We are. Okay, has everyone said their goodbyes? Because I'm ready to not blow this puppy up. That's a horrible analogy. We're going to end this room. We're going to have a soft landing. Sorry.
You're
Goodbye,
ready to suicide
everyone. And I'll see you on Monday. Oh, actually, you know what? Look for the Procrastinati Room starting tomorrow at sometime between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. We will be the best alternative space on this weekend. Join us.
At the same time, but then you have to ask yourself, what is love really?
Be careful. Thank you for that clarification. And also in the West Bank, there are many Arabs that don't believe in violence and don't want violence and don't want war. I know it's hard to believe, and maybe you don't see them; they're not visible to you. But I know they exist.
We don't see those peaceful Arabs, Palestinians in the West Bank. This is something that you don't see, but because, as I said, most of the attacks the terror attacks are from there. But for Israeli Arabs, I can say for sure that the vast majority of them are peaceful and do not want violence. And are part of the Israeli society. I know personally many of them.
Thank you. That's a really good point. So I think like the question is, I think from Hannah's perspective and from the Bibi Kapar's perspective is, you know, even if there's problems in Israel, they feel we should never talk about them. Don't air our dirty laundry. And I feel like newspapers like Haaretz and, you know, human rights organizations from me in America as an outsider make me see something salvageable in Israel. To me, it looks like there's nothing that represents me or my values or the things that we used to be proud of about Israel. Like, though, it's only because of like truth tellers and people who are willing to keep society healthy and be self-critical and self-reflective is really saving Israeli society. To me, it makes Israel look better, not worse, when we confront problems and talk about hard truths. When we lie about it, it makes Israel just look like North Korea, you know, increasingly a pariah state. Can't ever like be self-reflective, just lie to the public. That doesn't make Israel look good, doesn't make Jewish people look good. It's not good for anti-Semitism around the world. I don't think it helps anybody. Ellie, you have some thoughts?
Yeah, your comment on Haaretz is that's quite an illusion. The problem with Haaretz and their ilk is that they pretend to tell the truth, but it is not. They're not.
Do you think they're biased?
They're not. It's not about being biased. It's about their incentives being misaligned with an actual ability to coexist, because their political views are they live in an unworkable paradigm
it's burning
as far as politics goes. So they want to undermine the status quo, and they want to position themselves as an alternative view, but not all alternative views are workable.
Okay, so that aside, the paradigm that you disagree with aside, I want to know how you feel about this sort of notion that we should never air our dirty laundry or talk about the infighting happening in Israel to people outside, to pretend there's no flaws with the Israeli government, no corruption. Let's close our eyes, stick our head in the sand and say Israel's amazing and the most moral army in the world and can do no wrong. Do you think that serves Israeli people? Do you think that serves Israel as a state? Do you think it's credible? Do you think it's convincing in any way to anybody?
It's a delicate balance and a kind of difficult question to answer, because
most of us find it thoroughly unconvincing and just make it sounds delusional.
It depends on who are those everyone. So if you split the population into your enemies, the people who are to be convinced, the people who don't give a fuck either way, and your friends, nothing that you would say or no matter how you will conduct yourself will not convince your enemies. The people who don't care will continue not caring. The people who are to be convinced are actually a very small minority, I would say. And to your friends, it actually don't really matter how you will act.
But a country that dissent is not allowed, right?
No, wait, but before you acknowledge what I've said, do you see it differently? Do you think your enemies can be convinced with your righteous behavior?
I'm not trying to be righteous. I'm just trying to be accurate.
Whatever. Okay. Either
I'm trying to be accurate. Listen, I come from a position of a journalist who tries to only say things that are fact, and things have to, in this era of digital propaganda war, I have very, very selective, high standards, which I know you think Haaretz has an agenda, but they do follow basic journalistic standards, which is a scientific method.
I don't give a fuck about basic journalistic standards. That's not.
I know, but this is a method. This is a scientific method. You believe in science.
No, it's not.
It's not a hard science, but it's a science. Do you know what social science is? Social science has soft science. Is a soft science.
Yeah. My one critique for that whole quote unquote science is that when you can follow whatever structure that you think that is like fair journalism, but lie by structure and omission, like there is no tomorrow. Like, yeah, that throws all your standard out of the window. And they all lie by structure and omission. So I don't really give a fuck whatever they're saying, no matter if it's a right wing or left wing or fair journalism or like unless you're just reporting straight facts. You are narrativizing and you are lying by structure and omission.
So I understand that no one can. It would be delusional to say none of us have any bias, and journalists do tend to lean left in America and in Israel, right? At least in Haaretz reporters, right? Like, so to pretend that they don't choose stories or choose what to include or omit isn't shaped by their unconscious bias would be lying, and I would never say that. So I'll concede that point. However, I think generally they meet the gold standard of reporting, which has been developed over many, many years. I know that people think that we're just propagandists, but there is a standard where we provide attribution. We provide attribution for every claim, and increasingly, because there's distrust in the media, we also show our work. We show the scenes behind.
My criticism. You don't get my criticism. I think journalism should be propagandistic.
Oh, okay. That's a.
It should not pretend. It should not pretend not to be, because that's a lie. You just have to be very clear what side you propagandize for, and don't try to delude people into like this virtue signaling. Oh, I'm propagandizing like a neutral position. I'm just speaking the truth. Listen, you have an agenda. It's very clear what your agenda is. It's very clear for everyone. Like, what agenda does the Guardian have? It's like you have to be an imbecile not to like understand who they are and what their goals are. Okay, same for Ynet, same for Haaretz, same for Washington Post, whatever. Like,
you see no value. You see no value. You see no value in at least attempting to be objective in reporting, and having certain type of journalism that attempts to be objective.
Truthful, and listen, if you can do dispassionate reporting, that will be self-evident.
You don't think the Haaretz is dispassionate? Do you know the difference between the opinion pages and the reporting pages, the factual pages?
So again, of course I do know the difference. But when you are the Haaretz, okay, and you have opinion and reporting, yeah, like you can take and you can slice out all their opinions, okay, and just look at their factual reporting, and even there, by the way, they will be selecting stories, okay, so they will be narrativizing in their editorial process of just how they select the story, okay. They will run something and they will not run something else. They will
always, yes, I agree. We conceded this.
They will choose to bury something at the bottom of the page.
That's still not propaganda.
It's unconscious bias, Ellie, but it's not intentional to deceive.
Propaganda is a promotion.
You're purposely misleading.
No, that's the negative association of propaganda.
Ellie, I think what you're talking about is unconscious bias.
Then you're making no distinction. Then, if everything is propaganda, nothing is propaganda. Simply because, like you said, if everyone has a point of view,
he's muddying facts.
Simply expressing my view doesn't make it propaganda.
I was using propaganda in a neutral.
I am as well.
In a negative manner.
Propaganda is intention to deceive. There's no intention to deceive.
No, it's actually not true. But propaganda is a promotion of something.
Okay, Ellie, question.
I've got a question.
All right, my friend, go.
I was just going to ask briefly if you could tell me the title in English.
It says, "From the river to the sea, Buttercup will be free."
I honestly, can we just add free from the leftism, or can we not do that?
So what?
What?
Can we say Buttercup will be free, and then just add the from leftism?
No thanks.
Wait. But
that's not freedom, though.
I had a very specific question to you. I outlined 4 groups of people that you can try to influence with your behavior. Okay, enemies, friends, the people who don't care, and the people who needs to be convinced. Do you think that there is a 5th group?
My goal is not to convince, but I understand what you're saying.
Wait, but you strayed from my question.
Okay,
please just answer.
Say it again. What are the categories? Say them again. Friends, enemies.
Friends, enemies, people to be convinced, and people who don't give a fuck.
I think there's a 5th category.
Okay, go ahead.
I think journalism serves the community, it makes it healthy. I think it's important.
I'm saying the community.
What about us? I'm us. I'm us. I'm the community, and I'm in it. I want to want to say the wider community.
You belong to one of the four categories.
Which one?
You're either a friend, a foe, you don't care, or you need to be convinced.
I don't think that's the point of journalism. Journalism is not going to convince people. It serves the community. It makes it healthy.
Before we talk about journalism, I'm just saying in any conflict, in any, let's say Israel-Palestine, for Israelis or Jews,
Yeah.
okay, you have four categories of people. The friends, the foes, the people who don't care, and the people who be convinced, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we as a collective, as a nation, or whatever, we run our society, okay? We run
So
our
what's the
news.
most effective? I think the people who are honest, not the people who sugarcoat and dodge and use euphemisms and lie. That doesn't convince anybody. We're not stupid.
You try to stray away from where I'm trying to lead you, okay? I have a point, but I'm like asking questions to like gauge if we are on the same page. My sense, okay, is that the people who remain to be convinced are very few. Like around the world, the people that need convincing.
So why lie then? Why lie? Why just?
Where before we are saying what we do, we lie, we don't lie, whatever. You asked about airing dirty laundry. Okay, I'm addressing that point.
Okay.
I'm saying
Fine.
Around the world there are very few people that need convincing, who have not made their mind, who do not have an affiliation. So basically, whenever you engage in any public, how do you call it, public opinion, you engage in publicity, right? You either talk to your friends, you talk to your enemies, and you do not, the people who don't care don't listen. In any case, correct?
Correct.
So if you saw your dirty laundry, okay, and you're being honest, would that change the mind of your enemies about you?
I don't know that, maybe not enemies, but the people who just don't know a lot of Jewish people, and this is their only impression. You're just going to make them seem like more sane, human people.
Either that they don't care, or they're in the group of needing to be convinced. Most of them in the groups that don't care, so they don't even listen.
Mm-hmm.
The people who are not, who did not make their mind, are very few.
Listen, but I think I think the problem with your analogy is that many people who you see as enemies, I don't see as enemies, because I think if they're critical, of the Israeli government the same way you are, but you see them as enemies. And so I think that they actually don't hate Jewish people. They're not anti-Semitic. They don't hate Israeli men. They may have Israeli friends. They may have Israeli friends. They may have traveled in Israel.
You don't know what I invest in the category of.
We need to be more specific about these definitions then, because I think the enemies category is very small. It's much smaller than you think it is.
Oh really?
Yes, I mean they think I'm a capo, right, Ellie? I'm an enemy. Do you think I'm an enemy? No. So we have to define these definitions.
Wait. To whom are you an enemy?
To the pro-Israel camp, the Friends. The Friends believe I'm an enemy, right? So what am I?
You are tagged as an enemy for convenience.
What do you consider an enemy? Doesn't want Israel's best interest at heart? Someone who doesn't want Israel to survive and the people to survive and not get hurt? Like, are those enemies?
Basically, when I think about friend-enemy category, is just their actions promote the well-being or diminish the well-being, even in small.
So I disagree. I disagree with your category. I promote the well-being of Israel.
Well, I didn't say that you're an enemy. I say you're being tagged as an enemy for convenience.
Okay, and some tag me as a friend. The enemies tag me as a friend.
Yeah, it's okay, but listen, people can be mislabeled. That's okay. But my point is that people either promote your interest or go against your interest in their actions. And most people's actions are very small. For example, most people only influence your well-being or the lack of it by just, having a positive or negative opinion of you. So it's like, when the general opinion of you is good, okay, around the world, it's just it snowballs, right? Popularity has like this tendency to just spread, you know, and negativity also has the tendency to spread. So if you, for example, if you hold a negative opinion of Israel, you promote the fact that like more and more people are less favorable at Israel, because most people are not critical. Most people are not convinced by facts.
Okay.
They're convinced by their friends' opinions.
Okay.
Okay, so you can have your best interests at heart, but like in action, you can.
Okay, you said people are most convinced by their friends. If the so-called enemies, which I don't consider them enemies, but you see them as enemies of let's say the state of Israel, if they see me as a friend and I criticize, let's say, both governments as not serving their people, who's more critical, me or Bibi Kapara, who says Israel's perfect and has amazing tomatoes and they?
You're very concerned with labeling one individual, which is you. But I'm saying, like, obviously.
No, I'm talking about I'm saying why we need to be more honest and less blindly, reflexively pro-Israel all the time. All of us friends.
Okay. So I'm saying this is why we have to talk about just how people's opinion work and how general populations are being influenced in terms of opinion, right? So you are thinking that by being truthful, you will spread positivity towards Israel.
Not positivity, but honestly, we don't need to lie to people. I trust people's intelligence. Honest perception. We're not. Israel is neither better than everyone, and it's neither worse. We're just normal humans. It's the idea, Ellie. It's the idea that we're humans like everyone else, and we have flaws, and we have good qualities. And the problem is we've been vilified or lionized, and neither is true, and neither is accurate, and neither is credible. Okay. So what we do is when we talk about the truth, we make Israel's humans again. Israelis are humans. They're not monsters, and they're not angels. And that's what we need to promote, because that's accurate.
Most people are completely not receptive to your pleas.
I disagree, because as someone who is camped out with the enemies, as you say, that hasn't been my experience.
No, that's not my point. I can make friends amongst my enemies. Listen, if I'm telling you...
Alright, Ellie and then almost.
One second.
It will not stop. If you don't stop it, it will not stop. We will talk till tomorrow. When the other people want to talk and speak.
Alright, almost go.
Almost, are you feeling left out of the conversation that we embarked on?
No, I'm feeling like
Maybe you can ask if you can interrupt instead of being a bitch.
And before I go out, I want to make commercial to my room that everybody will come to my room.
Okay, you have a permission to speak. Go ahead.
That's why I come here, to make commercials that Buttercup will bring all the people to my room, and maybe only Bibi Kapara, she can, as a liar, Bibi Kapara, she can,
I can keep him.
Sure.
You let me keep him.
Thank you, Amos. Thank you.
I'll babysit him.
The last time he put all the blame for you, he broke my room and he put all the garbage on you. So I waited for this time to see who is right and who is wrong. Your baby, yes, baby. What you have to say? That's your time.
So I have a question, and it's kind of sentimenting around what Ellie's saying. Do you think right now is the right time to critique and criticize Israel, or wait till we get our hostages back and the war stops? Because right now I find that it's very detrimental and it's hurtful. While they're in the middle of a war, sure, they probably need criticism, but can't that wait? I don't know if you see
Can I try to respond to that? Can I respond to that?
Yeah.
Well, I was asking you and Buttercup basically, because I know it was a question for her, but in my opinion, one of the things that makes Judaism great and one of the things that makes Israel great is, not to use a tired phrase, but that we are on the right side of history. I think that being on the right side of history should give you some level of confidence that eventually it's going to work out in our favor. And I think that it's important to maintain integrity. And I think if that means being self-critical, so be it. I definitely think that there's a stopping point where we've got to stop short of being self-hating. But I think that being self-critical is one of the things, and being able to look ourselves in the mirror is one of the things that separates us from, the other
side. Foundational to our culture, in my opinion, but maybe not Israeli culture. I don't know.
And then I want to bring up the fact of the New York Times, how they corrected conversation in the wrong direction about
It's off topic.
Charlie Kirk.
We're not talking.
Is that off topic?
Yesterday was Charlie Kirk.
Okay, so
You
today-
played my clips over and over. If you want, you can play the clips to capture how I feel about it.
BB, it's going to be Charlie Kirk for a long time as far as I'm concerned, but it's not my room.
I never played any clips from you. It was just saying that there was a correction made on September 11th, 2025. Earlier version of this article described incorrectly on anti-Semitic statement that Charlie Kirk had made on an episode on his podcast. He was actually quoting a statement from a post on social media and went to critique it. It was not his own
There were
statement.
multiple clips of him on his show talking about the Jewish Marxist funders' dollars that are corrupting our world. Multiple, okay? BB, we're not getting into your anti-Semitic friend right now. We're not talking about Nazis on this show because this is for people against racism and hatred.
My anti-Semitic what?
I'm saying your friend, your anti-Semitic racist Nazi friend, may he rest in peace, may his memory be a blessing, is not the topic, okay?
So who do you think is hurting Israel more, you or him?
You. We're talking about you here, BB. We're talking about you or me, not him.
We're talking about you.
We're talking about you.
I'd like to talk about me.
Okay, my friend.
Well, no, but I wanted to talk about the statement.
Let's hear a new voice. Jason, speak. What do you want to say?
Exactly. Silencing people that critique.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to say, I think Ellie is maybe oversimplifying, calling, talking about enemies, but they're people who aren't persuadable, more pragmatically, and those people are really out there, and Ellie is right. And going all the way back, propaganda isn't always lying, but propaganda is presenting things that make you look good, and the other side look bad. A lot of the time, that's presenting true stuff. And if you want to win, sometimes you got to do that. And there is a time for a rational and searching evaluation of facts, not just because presenting things that are true, but not presenting all of them is a way to slant things. And journalists do that. Journalists have to make a choice about which facts to present, and they present the facts that they like and don't always present the facts that they don't like.
I think there's
that process. Yeah. I'll finish up here. That process where you go through and find the facts that you don't like also, and give them equal weight with the things that you think are important and that you do like. That is something researchers do. That's something intelligence analysts do.
That's
not something that...
You're wrong, Jason.
It's not something
I'm
that
the only
journalists
journalist on the
do
stage.
professionally. Well,
they do. You're wrong. There is a journalistic method, and let me explain it to you,
There's
Jason.
a lot of stuff written up about this, and even intelligence analysts fail to do it unless they follow a very rigorous methodology. And that is peculiar to their profession.
Unlike any other profession,
you keep saying you're a journalist. What articles are you?
Well, I'm not going to ask you, Buttercup, who you are or what you do. I respect your anonymity, okay? But I certainly have seen a lot of coverage on numerous issues that is not where they have okay, here's the half of the paper that is the things that we believe that are true, and here's all the things that contradict what we have to say.
So I think if you look at any mainstream paper, listen, if you look you're wrong though, because you're stating misfacts.
Well, what if we have a more structured discussion here? Because I was just about to finish up.
Okay,
all right. And there's a structured process for that, but it's not always the time to do that.
Okay.
And so I can see the argument.
So now's the time for propaganda.
I can see the argument these guys are making that what we're up against is people who are putting their best facts forward. Maybe it's time for us to put our best facts forward.
Got it. Thank you.
I was, by the way, not making any normative suggestions. I wasn't saying what is right. I was just trying to explain how people label someone and try to engage with what reality is.
Okay.
Descriptive, not prescriptive.
I just want to correct something about journalism that Jason said. There are some publications that blur the line between fact, opinion, and dispassionate reporting, right? But any mainstream publication, anything that is perspective, they will label as either analysis or opinion. That's like the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, Haaretz. They would never, ever, it's a big faux pas, a big taboo to ever conflate opinion with dispassionate reporting. I will admit that, of course, everyone has unconscious bias, and like Ellie pointed out accurately, that there are choices that are made what to to include and what to omit, and that has to do with the reporters or editors' bias or even the publication's bias. But I think usually the interest is not in validating their worldview, but whether or not it's newsworthy, whether or not it's interesting to the public, whether it counteracts mainstream narratives. That's usually the judgment that's made, whether to include a story or not include a story. In fact, I've written in my career as a journalist, I've written extensively about political corruption, mostly about liberals, mostly about Democrats, because that's where I live. I live in a liberal area. And what I do, even when it challenges the mainstream liberal orthodoxy, we think it's especially newsworthy because it challenges people's worldview, and that makes it interesting, and that's why it makes the front page. So I think this sort of like this binary that we have, that like left right, is not always the case. I think journalism is motivated by what's interesting to people, what's relevant to people, and what challenges the normative view. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Ellie.
You can claim that for individual reporters and individual journalists when you have a publication. That publication shapes shapes around some political bent that either the main main redactor, suggest the word
editor. You mean the editor?
Editor. Yeah, the lead editor or the most amount of people, like their political affiliation, that work for that publication.
Yeah, there is unconscious bias, like I said. I'm talking about motivation.
Or their customers, because they have to cater to some people who pay them, or the advertiser.
Great point. So let's take Israel ecosystem. There are public television.
I'll just finish.
Okay.
Just hand waving that away and saying, oh, it's just unconscious bias. No. Okay, you should own up to that and not try to gaslight people that you do not have this bent. It's okay.
A lot of publications, they're proud of their independence they don't tell people what they want to hear. There are television, especially in US and in Israel, tell people what they want to hear because they have advertisers and they have a model that primarily wants to give people, the subscribers, what they want. But
okay,
journalism, media...
You think The Guardian is not catering to an audience?
The Guardian is a British publication. I'm much more familiar with libel laws and standards in America and a little bit in Israel, but not in Britain. Britain has a whole different view, a whole different set of laws. So I don't really know.
But the business model is still based on...
No, there are standards and laws. There's actually case law about this. You can sue a case for libel.
You can completely reverse law and completely cater to your audience. That's totally...
it's illegal. We sued in America. They sued Fox News for billions of dollars.
But you know, we spoke about it, and like I think like 3 days ago, a libel you can sue as a person or as an organization, not as a, for example, as a country or the IDF or Jews. Okay, this cannot happen.
No. People in power, politicians, countries, entities should not have protection. They should be scrutinized till the end of day, right? This is for the protection of the people. Institutions, countries are not people.
I'm talking about hold on, we're talking about media and I'm talking about the
media and libel are designed to protect me and you and Israelis.
One second.
Not the countries.
1 second. I'm talking about the media and accountability, and you were talking about source of information. And I'm saying that this protection
for good reason.
1 second, please, Baraka.
Okay.
Like, I don't like, am I triggering you or just like I
started
talking about 30 seconds ago?
Yeah, I heard what you said.
This protection is for individuals and for like organizations. They have a name, okay? Not for Jews, not for the IDF, not for Israel, not for Zionists, not for Muslims, not for any of this, okay? So accountability, it's about individuals.
I agree with you.
And it's not relevant for the conversation.
And there's a good reason for this, Daniel. The point of journalism, I think the old phrase is you need to afflict the comfortable and comfort the afflicted. The point is not to serve powerful entities like the Israeli government or like Jewish institutions that are fighting for Israel's reputation or like things like this. The point is to serve the people. A society is only as healthy as its free press.
Why is it okay for you to criticize the Jewish institutions, but it's not okay for Charlie Kirk to criticize the Jewish institutions?
We're not talking about Kirk right now. We're talking about this is
you just used the phrase Jewish institutions.
Presenting some facts and not others is not libel, and you can't be sued for it. part.
And if you want to talk about
And
language,
that, I think, relates to what Ellie is saying. Okay, partial truths are a good way to shape people's views. And it's very hard to sue anyone
yesterday's
for
assassination of
presenting partial
conservative activist
This is not harmful though to present a point.
What transpired here? Well, suspicion was that
Wait, you are dancing around and you're shifting the goalposts. I'm sorry, like, this is what's bordering on disingenuous behavior.
By the way, Lars is doing
Alright, do you want to clarify? Do you want to move the goalpost back?
Yes, because the goalpost is, I'm saying, you, like, any journalistic venue, usually, again, there are some exceptions that, like, you can find the most dispassionate papers or whatever on some political topic, usually on business,
You like Wall Street Journal?
on business and economics, yes.
Let's say, and then you read it and you have the feel that, yeah, they're not bending some political line, okay? So for me, that would not be propaganda because they're not promoting something. They're just...
You're actually wrong. Economics is a very polarized thing, and people, it might sound dispassionate.
Economics itself is, but when they report on politics, they report on it much more dispassionately than, for example, someone who deals nothing with politics, like you talk about Haaretz, you talk about I talk about The Guardian, and so on and so on. Okay, when I...
First of all, let's take Haaretz again.
What?
Haaretz, they do separate opinion pages from reporting, don't they?
What they separate.
I know, but someone said they don't separate, and they do.
Listen, I don't fucking care.
You haven't even looked at the paper, and you're criticizing it.
This is like...
But they do separate. Let's just start with the basic facts. They separate opinion from facts.
I didn't say that they don't separate.
Okay, so they do.
I'm saying that they are propaganda, okay, because they shape a political narrative, okay, but some people, like you in this instance, you're trying to paint a picture which is completely disingenuous and wrong, okay, that they follow some strict, rigid, magic rules
These have been developed for many years.
that make them report dispassionately. You cannot gaslight
They aspire to it. I didn't say it's perfect.
It's not even, listen, when you inspire to something, like, you should be at least, like, aspire, yeah, you should be at least somewhat close to it, but no, Haaretz is not close to it, The Guardian is not close to it, and why...
Who is close to it? Ellie.
So, I'm saying, when I read Wall Street Journal, for example, it is much closer to it, because they do not have a clear political leaning that I can detect usually, okay? And this is just, it's a vibe test, if a paper doesn't pass the vibe test, so apparently they're propaganda. Like,
it's not a scientific
yes, it's not scientific.
A vibe test, that's your subjective vibe test.
Yes, I'm not a scientist, okay?
But I am, because I went to journalism school and I know the method.
No, a journalist is not a scientist. They are a
But we have a method, just like scientists do. And Ellie, who I think is a scientist, right, knows that there's a scientific method.
I'm a software engineer, and even not barely. But listen, again, and listen.
And there's certain quality control, right? We have quality control in journalism too.
I do not have.
We have several layers of quality control.
Listen, I do not.
You want to hear about them?
I do not have. I don't care. Like, I do know.
Don't care. You don't want to learn.
No, it's not that I don't want to learn, because you're missing my main point. Okay, I do not have, like, for example, in Israel, I do not have a particular party or political affiliation in Israel, because my views do not align neatly with anyone in Israel. Usually, like, on some, I would probably be labeled as an enemy by the same people that would mark you as one, for many of the same reasons. For example, much before October 7, when I was trying to tell in Jewish rooms that people should stop banging the gavel on this whole anti-Semitism thing every time that someone criticizing Jews, I was kicked out of Jewish rooms, okay? Just a small example, okay? And I still stand behind that. I think it was the completely wrong thing to do in terms of, like...
counterproductive, undermines actual anti-Semitism.
But listen, my reason is not because it's counterproductive. My reason is because...
What does it do? Doesn't that cheapen the word anti-Semitism? What does it do?
It doesn't cheapen anything. The problem is completely different. The problem is that the world is much like a schoolyard, okay? And people get bullied when they show some behaviors and some ways of like basically that show that they're vulnerable. Screaming anti-Semitism on the schoolyard where there are bullies is just attracts the completely wrong type of attention.
Okay. So Ellie, so what do you feel what Buttercup's doing? You think that that's good for the Jewish people?
I think it's
better
not
for the Jewish people. Mayor Bibi, who calls people.
By the way, it is.
No, you got to answer this. Who's worse for the Jewish people?
You said it's not
yeah,
good.
Yeah, but who's worse, me or Bibi for Jewish people? Be honest.
You put me in a top bite. I would say probably Bibi, but I have to.
Bibi's worse for the Jewish people, right?
But say why. Say why.
Amos also thinks they're worse for the Jewish people. I think there's a consensus.
My reasoning would be completely different from what you think.
Exactly.
Because I think on the playground where there are bullies, okay, and there are those some people, okay, are convinced by a charismatic behavior, so you kind of attract their attention and their respect, okay.
Me or Bibi, we're both charismatic.
No, I'm
talking about you.
Both of you are not. But I think putting yourself in a victim position is worse than being like someone who's criticizing your own kind of group. You would attract much more fire, Buttercup, but Billy would degrade the respect of people who on the fence or not caring.
Okay, and which is worse, Bibi, right?
Yeah,
Bottom line.
But by the way, what you do in the same psychological aspect is that you elevate the spirits of the enemy. So to start.
So what's worse?
Ellie.
But the spirits of the enemy is not a huge factor for you actually. Because the enemy can have glee and they think that they're winning because they have those traitors inside their camp and blah blah blah, and they can be overconfident and that will just hurt them in the long run. But when you lose the kind of tacit support or respect of
but who's more credible, me or Bibi when we criticize Hamas or violent resistance or the October 7th?
I'm not after credibility.
The person who tells the truth or the person who spouts propaganda all the time?
I'm not for credibility. I'm for being successful on the schoolyard.
It's not. You don't think it's successful? When I brought my Palestinian friend on and to talk to other Palestinians, they agree with her that Hamas failed the people.
So what did that change?
Saying we want to bring moderate voices. This place is so polarized. It's good to have moderate voices to remind us that the vast majority of people are somewhere in the middle. This place is not reality. It's not real life.
Don't use this place as a consensus for anything. This is not statistically valid. It represents a group of self-selected people who come onto the app. It doesn't represent a cross-section of anything. So, but it doesn't
it's so polarized. Both sides are represented as these caricatures of themselves, and I don't think it's accurate of the human sample size. A real
right.
human.
But you just said before that there's a consensus that one was better than another. No, you can't draw a consensus from one person's opinion or even a couple people on Clubhouse's opinion. This is not statistically valid in any such.
And the truth is, Ellie, I would argue we're not trying to change. You agree that we're not really changing anyone's minds anyway.
Yes, you're doing you're doing mental masturbation and.
For me personally.
Yeah, but no, for me as well. I'm guilty.
You're not expecting to change anyone's minds, right? So why am I a threat to the Jewish people, like these Bibi Kapara said?
Because it's very uncomfortable. People in your camp undermining your positions. It's very upsetting.
Don't you think it makes Jews look good that some of us are moderates and all of us are fucking right-wing lunatics?
No, because they're not convincing anyone that needs to be convinced.
I mean, I think it reflects that not all of us are fascistic, Bibi, Kahanist lunatics. I think that's healthy. It's healthy to represent the spectrum of opinion in our community.
None of those people are persuadable. None of those persuadable, Buttercup.
I'm not trying to convince, I'm just trying to represent a full cross-section of our community, not just the crazy radicals.
I mean, it doesn't help. It does make Jews look bad to
have moderates among us?
Yeah. You're not a moderate, Buttercup.
What am I, Jason?
You're a left-wing extremist.
Okay, that's not,
Absolutely,
it's not,
absolutely.
that's
You
not
just
what the
don't want to
left-
hear the cold hard truth. But
Okay. Thanks. Daniel, you want to speak? Do you have anything to say? Othello, what do you think? Am I a left-wing extremist?
you're asking somebody who hates Jews.
No, he doesn't.
I do
Yeah, he
think you
does.
throw around that word kahanist a little bit too much.
I say it tongue-in-cheek, and I've said
Well,
over
you
and over
shouldn't,
again.
because it.
I know that you and BB, we
Buttercup,
call Amos started it. Amos says, you guys are Kahanis, they're Nukhba, the lefties.
Oh, just because he started it doesn't mean you need to pile.
Why? I think it's funny. It's funny on the top.
It's a known fact that people like BB, Rabbi, Harry, make Jews look so bad. They've been doing it. They've been doing it for the past 3, 4, 5 years, and they don't give a fuck, right? I think Buttercup, when I see you, someone like you come on the app, I have hope for humanity, and I have hope because I know that there's a lot of Jews like you, like to treat Jews as a monolith.
Like me.
Yeah, like Amos as well. You guys are a bridge to the rest of the world so that we can have healthy dialogue and not push weird ass white supremacist, right-wing Jewish supremacist ideologies. And I appreciate you, Butter.
Thank you.
Really, you said thank you. Maybe you wanna address it, Buttercup. So you think that the Jews that think differently than Buttercup and sometimes Amos are, what did you say? Supremacist, white. What can you say this again?
Jewish
White supremacists.
Jewish white supremacists.
This is why I say white supremacists, because you guys mod rooms and support people like Pepe, who say the N-word.
You guys.
And Charlie Kirk is a supremacist.
And
Pepe is the catch-all. Catch-all for everything.
In rabbis' rooms, right?
Who is rabbis?
They say the N-word 50 times a room. And you guys are laughing in there.
Who is doing this?
Oh, you N-word. Oh, you N-word.
Who?
You know Rabbi? You know Rabbi?
Black Rabbi?
This is a Clubhouse live
No,
stream.
Rabbi.
Which rabbi?
This
There's
is
so
put
many
on by a
rabbis
young
in
girl
here.
named Buttercup. She's a journalist and an extreme left-wing
Oh,
liberal
he's not Jewish.
lunatic.
He's an anti-Semite.
He's not Jewish?
No, and Count My Shekels is an anti-Semitic trope. He's not Jewish.
He's a Jew hater that is basically cosplaying as Jew.
Jews don't say Count My Shekels. That's an anti-Semitic stereotype.
Spread hate about Jews, and you fell for it, dude.
Okay.
I mean, that's fine. You guys still mod rooms with Pepe.
So
Everything
Pepe! Another one. What do you want for? So your claim that that we are nationalists, like the white supremacists, is because of Pepe and another.
You guys do flirt with them. You flirt with them.
No, you guys,
Daniel, the room does like to flirt with white supremacists.
And Buttercup flew right over her head. She was like, "I'm fine with
Yeah, you guys gotta hear this. They're talking about you guys. This is hilarious.
Calling like the rest of the 99% like white supremacists, whatever you call it. That's fine. For me, it seems that the source of information is one Jew hater and Pepe. None of them are Jewish.
No, Daniel, it is a problem that your room flirts with Jew haters.
You're flirting with terrorists.
No, I'm not.
So what does it mean?
No one's a terrorist on this app. They're all American. Who's a terrorist? What are you talking about?
And we're flirting with who? Excuse me?
So the people that you champion, not you personally, but people in your room lionize and your country.
Hold on. So
your country lionizes people like Charlie Kirk, who I believe is a white supremacist.
Yep, Issa.
So you people is who exactly?
Issa, Mr. You know when you're in those rooms with Issa and Mr. and you guys are just calling each other.
Who's Mr.?
Yeah, you know who Mr. is.
I don't know who that is.
You talking about Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
He's another. He's literally like he would support Hitler. He would take a gun and shoot Jews himself.
Okay, and
those are your examples of why you hate Jews because of Jew haters, dude. Wow, man. Listen, I have nothing here. I have nothing. I mean, dude.
We're not arguing those two people. I just want you to make commercials.
You don't need a commercial break every 10 minutes, almost.
Yeah, exactly. Every 10 minutes you have to stop and
You know, it's an argument between Othello and Daniel.
This has been No One Cares. Q Frank, I'm gonna create a new room.
Days from now, they like to talk. They talk.
Everyone, go to Amos's room. He's waiting for you with tea and coffee.
And there is a cake. Don't forget. Cake also.
Uga.
And I hope you are the first my guest in my room. I hope.
Keep doing your thing, Buttercup. Don't let these guys gaslight you. Keep doing your thing.
Listen, Daniel, I like talking to you because you're reasonable, but like a lot of the folks you share a room with, they are a little like fanatical and blind and reflexively just Israel. They fetishize Israel and it doesn't no one finds it convincing. It's not coherent. It doesn't make sense. You're a rational person. Doesn't it bother you that they do this?
No, it bothers me that you are taking one or two people and you're trying to use this as a wide brush. Doesn't matter. And you know, when I would say this, if I would say the same to you, I say, okay, so if you are with basically hanging out and chilling with people that would basically slaughter your family and are supporting Hamas, literally, not just like by innuendos, like, you know, like supporting and resistance.
Oh my God, look who it is, Donald, you're still alive. There must be a God. Praise God, you're alive, Donald. Praise God, you're alive, Donald. I thought fentanyl got you, brother.
Yeah, but I can
I thought fentanyl might have got you, Donald. Praise God, there must be a God if you're still alive, Donald. Oh, we're so lucky you're with us. God must be real. Donald, there must be a God. You're proof, Donald. You are proof, living proof, Donald, that there is a God. Praise the great and glorious God for Donald's still alive. I thought you were dead, Donald. I thought you weren't with us anymore, brother. But praise God, it's another miracle. From Charlie Kirk's assassination and his ashes rises Donald. Donald, you're alive. You're alive, dear Donald, my friend. You are alive, Donald. You're alive. Okay, Donald, I am complete. Thank you, Donald.
Whatever the long sentence, it was a very like.
Spaces for anti-blackness.
Who is you guys? So I'm here, and give me one name of one space that I created that you have a problem with one, something that I did or said.
The spaces with Isa, right?
What's the problem with my spaces with Isa?
That is not a room that harbors Islamophobic and anti-black sentiments while you guys sit around and laugh.
First of all, you're talking about their room, not mine. This is the room that Isa creates.
It doesn't matter.
Can I speak?
I just joined the house, Donald. Thank you so much for creating this room. I'd like to try to convince you that God exists. If I may have a couple of 60 seconds of your time.
Give me a screenshot from this room. Go.
Alright, Othello, in fairness.
Wanna bet this is the concept of Isa's room.
Okay, just listen. This is another clubhouse room. Ocean is a homosexual bookseller. Loves talking about how he wants to get his ass rammed.
I would never mod with this fucking Mr. Robinson. He's a vermin, okay? So don't give me this shit.
So he disavowed his views, Othello. Let's move on from this, okay?
Okay.
I don't disavow. He's not even a human. I don't want to talk about him. You painting a brush on me because of people that are in a room with. It's disgusting. It's basically you looking for.
I have to say, Othello, I
If you have a problem with people, take it with them. But to exploit them in order to spread hate about Jews, I had enough of it. And I'm here, and you keep on saying, you guys.
This is my last statement.
So maybe don't make it.
I don't want to see you guys, the Jewish people on this app, mod rooms and celebrate people like Pepe, right? Who said 2 days ago, who asked Buttercup if she was hot enough to be raped on October 7th.
So, you know what? I would ask you guys, because I see a lot of black rooms, I would ask you guys to stop creating rooms against Jews. And I hear a lot of you guys, and I would ask, I don't know if you're an Islamist or Muslim, but I would ask you guys to also stop having rooms constantly all over Clubhouse, like spam about Jews. Just, do a routine of
searching for the Israeli flag once in a while and see how many rooms are in Arabic obsessive about Israel. Okay?
What do you think about
The
this
day
room?
that Charlie Kirk died,
Buttercup Tia
the day that Charlie Kirk died, there were like 4 rooms at the same time saying Israel did it or Jews did it. At the same time.
I don't join
you guys need to stop this before you come to us and say anything. So we can both play to you guys. We can both play to you guys, dude.
Now listen, I don't join any rooms about Jews. I join rooms about specific people in certain communities.
Mixed, I'm bringing you up because I want a different voice, but don't yell, okay?
From the river to the sea.
Mixed, don't yell. Talk quietly. You want to say something?
Why did you get rid of the other guy?
I didn't get rid of anyone. He got rid of himself. Mixed, do you want to say something?
Thank goodness.
Yeah, Buttercup. Like, I have my own opinion about how you situate yourself in